Greetings everybody, coming to you from my 2014 Mercedes-Benz GLK 250 Blue Tech with 170,000 miles on it. So I was just thinking about, I was sort of inspired by a random topic that I thought might be worth making a video about. And that is why I like cars with a lot of miles on them so much. I've always liked them, and there's several reasons. I just kind of wanted to go into that. So first of all, I'll call high mileage over 100,000. I mean, on today's cars, 100,000 miles is really not a whole lot compared to like maybe what they were in the 80s and whatever. I mean, but we'll draw that as the line, anything over 100,000 miles, preferably more. But they've been fascinating to me for a long time because once you start racking up the miles on a car, it starts to develop some character. Now, this is a little less true of newer cars than it is of older cars, but I mean, even this one being a 2014 here in 2024, it's starting to get some character. You know, it's like it may vibrate a little more when it's cold or be a little noisier or whatever, but I mean, I think that just adds to the charm and character of the car. I definitely like a car that has some character to it. Another thing that has been really fun for me is, you know, when I'm buying a car like this, I evaluate it thoroughly before I buy it. And it's kind of a personal challenge to me to see if my assessment of the car is correct over time. For example, that it will hold up and be reliable and so forth. And it's funny, I always find cars last longer than I think they're going to last. Also, high mile cars, like something like this, like when I bought this, it had 144,000 on it. And it came with all the maintenance records from the prior owner. I also was able to find in the books who owned it originally, and I was able to reach out to them and get their permission to have the Mercedes dealer pull. I guess that car doesn't want me to pass them, so we'll get behind them and watch they'll slow down again. Anyway, I was able to have them pull the entire maintenance history on this car. So I have what I believe to be a fairly complete history from day one. So when you have a high mile car that's properly maintained, obviously the high miles are going to lower the price dramatically. And you know, when somebody else spends the money on repairing a car that has a high miles, especially common issues that you know are going to go bad that have already been addressed, it really provides for an incredible value proposition. You pay significantly less for a much nicer car. So, I mean, this particular car, it had a few options on it, and it was the sticker price back in 2013, again it's a 2014 model, was like $49. And I did one of my favorite websites to play with money it's called in2013dollars.com, and it's basically an inflation calculator. So I went on to that site, I put 2013 in there and put the MSRP, and in today's dollars this car is over $60,000. Now, I've had it a little over a year and 3 months, I think. I may have misstated that in an earlier video. And I actually probably slightly overpaid for it, but I traded in my Elantra N on this car, so I didn't have to pay tax because that was more money. In my state, if you trade a car that's more money than the car you're buying, you don't have to pay any tax. So it made that nice. But I ended up paying, round numbers, $10,500 for this car. I think, wholesale it's worth a lot less, but I think on the open market, these diesels tend to pull a premium significantly over the wholesale. But anyway, with regular maintenance, you're getting into a good car, something that's been taken care of, has a history, and will likely be reliable for a long time to come. When I was looking through the history, I saw that things like regular brake fluid changes were done. They even changed the transmission oil once, which I did again when I got the car. That was done by the original owner, and it was like 64,000 or something like that. And then I did it again right after I got it at 144. And the transmission pan was perfectly clean when I pulled it. It shifts like brand new. So for the most part, cars are designed to last a long time. Now, there are some exceptions. There are some, the first one that popped into my mind is all the Audis and Volkswagens with the 2.0T that basically self-destructs after 75,000 miles. So certain cars you probably want to avoid. But again, unless that the common expensive issues were already done. So it's there's just a whole lot of reasons why a high mile car with the proper history can be very interesting. Now, even if you get one that maybe you don't know the history on, but you check it out and everything looks good, you do have to check one like that out maybe a little more thoroughly. If you can get a great deal because of the miles, it may still make up for that. But essentially with this car, I'm getting like the newer Mercedes experience for just a small fraction of the price. A lot of times you can get one of these cars, maybe not something quite as rare as a diesel like this, for 10 or 15% of the original MSRP, and it just provides for such incredible value for the money. But those are the main reasons why I really like the high mile cars. And I also think it's just super cool to look at the odometer and see all those miles on it. It also, I kind of maybe stated something like this already, but a different way of looking at it is, even on much newer cars, high miles can significantly lower the price of the car, and you can get into a much newer car for just a fraction of what it might have cost. Like somebody who maybe used a car to commute a long distance for a couple years, and you get a car like now, maybe a 2023 model with 100,000 miles on it. Market seems to have returned back to normal from all the COVID craziness, so something like that you would expect to maybe get half off for a 2-year-old car, especially if it's a luxury car. Like if you find a Mercedes E-Class 2023 with over 100,000 miles on it, you could get that for maybe half off. Just round numbers, guessing off the top of my head. So you do have to keep after them. You have to check everything. I look under the hood all the time, and once in a while I get under the car, look around to make sure nothing is amiss, nothing is leaking and whatever. Always pay attention to the gauges and the warnings and anything that might pop up. And no car is perfect. You will have little things pop up here and there, but it's always fun for me to just see how far can I go without it ever leaving me stranded. Maybe it's okay if it has a check engine light or something that pops up once in a blue moon. But yeah, it's just nice to get an old car like this that's as reliable or more reliable than a new car. You know, there's a lot of stuff going on with newer cars. Like off the top of my head right now, a bunch of 2022 to 2025 even Hondas are being recalled because of cracking fuel pump that can create a fire. And you know, then there's this whole Toyota 6-cylinder engine self-destruction fiasco going on as well on like the 2022 and up Toyotas, and possibly even the Lexus that uses the same engine, like I think the Tundras. Yeah, there's just a lot of stuff going on with new cars that, yeah, I've not had anything like that on this car in the 26,000 miles I've put on it. And this one, now this is a rare exception. The car I'm driving now actually came with a pretty extensive warranty due to the emissions fiasco. So this car did need some work. It involved replacing the intake manifold and a few gaskets, and the NOx sensor went bad. All that was covered under warranty, so that was another reason I bought this particular car. But generally speaking, you're not going to have any warranty on a high mile car like this. I always just try to look for little things that give me the most value for the money, and the extra warranty on this car, that was a huge plus. And now I've got a new intake manifold, and that is a common issue on these cars, and I'm sure it'll last another 160,000 miles or whatever before the new one fails. All right, well, those are my thoughts. Have a great day, everyone.